Do you ever find yourself engaging in behaviors that you know are detrimental but can't quite pinpoint why you act that way? Clinical social worker Katie Gillis sheds light on the fact that such harmful patterns can often be linked to psychological trauma. In response to traumatic experiences, individuals may develop coping mechanisms that, while initially helpful, end up harming them in the long run. Let's delve into 5 examples of these harmful behaviors, which may actually be trauma responses. 1. Social withdrawal. Retreating from the world. Social withdrawal, a common reaction to trauma, according to psychologist Katie Gillis, involves retreating from social connections and interactions. Individuals who have experienced trauma may perceive the world as unsafe and unpredictable, leading to a sense of isolation and disconnection from others. This withdrawal can manifest in various ways, including reduced social engagement. Victims may spend less time with loved ones and avoid social gatherings, preferring to remain in their own company. Fear of closeness. The fear of intimacy and emotional vulnerability can lead to a reluctance to form close relationships or engage in meaningful conversations. Emotional distance. The desire to protect oneself from further emotional pain can lead to pushing people away and maintaining an emotional distance from others. Social withdrawal can have significant consequences, hindering an individual's ability to form healthy relationships, seek support, and rebuild a sense of normalcy in their lives. Addressing social withdrawal requires understanding its underlying causes and seeking professional help to develop coping mechanisms and gradually re-engage with the social world. 2. Anger and lashing out, the explosive aftermath. Anger, a common and powerful emotion, is a frequent reaction to trauma, persisting long after the traumatic event has ended. According to Dr. Seth J. Gillihan, when individuals struggle to make sense of their traumatic experiences, anger can manifest in various ways. Self-directed anger. Victims may turn their anger inwards, blaming themselves for the trauma or engaging in self-destructive behaviors. Outward aggression. Anger may be directed towards others, leading to outbursts, verbal abuse, or physical aggression. Generalized hostility. A general sense of anger and resentment can permeate an individual's interactions, affecting their relationships with family, friends, and even strangers. The inability to process and manage anger effectively can lead to unintentionally hurting loved ones, damaging relationships, and further complicating the recovery process. Addressing anger issues requires recognizing the triggers, developing healthy coping mechanisms, and seeking professional guidance to develop emotional regulation skills. 3. Overworking. Drowning in distraction. Overworking, as explained by psychologist Dr. Brad CLA, can be a common coping mechanism for individuals struggling with unresolved trauma. The constant need to keep busy serves as a distraction from difficult thoughts and emotions, providing a temporary escape from the pain. However, this strategy can have detrimental consequences on mental health. By neglecting self-care and avoiding emotional processing, overworking can perpetuate the cycle of trauma and hinder healing. 4. Freezing. Up, a shield against vulnerability. Freezing, also known as tonic immobility, is a natural defense mechanism triggered in response to extreme stress or danger. It involves shutting down physical and emotional responses to avoid further harm. In the context of trauma, freezing can manifest as dissociation, emotional numbness, difficulty making decisions, and a paralyzing fear of trying new things. This response, according to Dr. Nathan Green, acts as a protective shield, preventing the individual from reliving traumatic experiences. However, prolonged freezing can become a hindering pattern, limiting one's ability to engage in life's activities and form meaningful relationships. 5. Fawning. Seeking safety. Through subservience. Fawning is a trauma response characterized by excessive appeasement and self-sacrifice to avoid conflict or disapproval. Therapist Pete Walker observes that survivors of childhood abuse often develop fawning behaviors due to the constant fear of punishment or abandonment. This coping mechanism manifests in various ways, including over-apologizing, a tendency to apologize excessively, even for minor mistakes or perceived offenses, in an effort to deflect criticism or gain acceptance. Difficulty saying no, an aversion to setting boundaries or denying requests, leading to a sense of being used or taken advantage of. Guilt surrounding receiving help, a reluctance to accept assistance or support, even when desperately needed, out of fear of being perceived as weak or incompetent. The fawning response, while initially aimed at preserving safety and security, can become a maladaptive pattern, leading to feelings of inadequacy, resentment, and hindered personal growth. Addressing fawning requires recognizing the underlying trauma and developing healthier coping mechanisms to assert boundaries and prioritize self-worth.